Hello, it's Paul from QR4rigs. I'd like to show you some of the extensions that we've developed for the VPforce Rhino force feedback base. But before I do, I just want to go over a bit of housekeeping. So the normal orientation for a VPforce Rhino base, I'll just call it Rhino from now on, is with the emergency stop switch close to the pilot and the potentiometer as well, and the pulley away from the pilot, the pulley for the x-axis, so here facing towards the front. In this orientation our extensions go straight on, but quite a lot of Rhino owners decide that it would be much better and place the joystick much closer to them, because they might have cutouts in their seats. They might want to actually orientate it so the red stop button and the potentiometer is at the front of the unit with a pulley closer to the pilot, because this gives you a much shorter distance between here and here as opposed to here and here, close to the pilot. But if you haven't got a cutout for your seat, or the cutout of your seat isn't big enough to take this unit, which most aren't, to be quite frank, then you probably want some form of short extension that will bring the offset or bring the grip closer to the pilot, and that's where extensions come in. And also you might want to increase the height because you've had to mount it quite low. So if you want to orient it this way around, there's something you need to do before you can use one of our extensions. It's quite simple. You need to loosen or remove these two screws, and the reason you want to remove these two screws to start with is because the notch for the 5-pin mini DIN plug is on the right. When it was in the ordinary orientation it was on the left, and that's fine for our extensions. Our extensions are hardwired. They're not like the Virpils who have a lead popping out the bottom. These are hardwired. So the plug is in this one orientation, and the plug is on the orientation where it needs this notch on the left, as you would have it if the Rhino base was in the correct, or the standard default orientation. So what we need to do is remove these two screws and do a switcheroo on this socket, this mini socket. So I'm just going to do that now. Apologies for my hand getting in the way. It's pretty unavoidable really. So there we go. There's the two screws, and I'm just going to lift it up with the aid of the screwdriver there. So I want to show you this actually, because this will be handy for you to know. You don't need to lift this very far, just enough to be able to rotate it, and there's a reason for this. If I pull it up a little bit, just so that goes to the camera, there's a plug in the socket here. Now that plug in the socket basically needs to remain connected, and there's just enough slack on that wire that you saw, the multicoloured wires behind it. There's just enough slack there to allow you to lift this up, turn it round so the notch is on the left with this facing towards you, facing away from you, because you always want the notch on your left in the orientation you want to use our extensions. And then pop the screws back in. So I'm just going to quickly do that, and again apologies for the hand getting in the way. So it's two screws, and they're in, and that's it. That's now the right way round for our extensions when the base is in this orientation, which is quite common because you can reverse the axis easily within the configurator. So no matter what orientation your force feedback base is, as long as when facing forwards or in position, this notch here, you see this little notch out of here on the side, as long as that notch is on the left hand side, you're good to go. And now our extension will fit on easily in the right orientation. So what have we done with our extensions? So our standard Thrustmaster extensions we found were a bit sloppy in this connector. So we've changed the interface. Unfortunately it won't fit in a Thrustmaster one now, but it fits in this one absolutely perfectly. So there's no, I mean there's hardly any movement even without doing this up, but of course you need it done up. And we've also ruggedized all the components. So that's the tube, the thread here, that's now printed at 100%. And I know there's quite a few people who would say, oh, there's no point in printing 100%. There is when you're doing threads and the surrounding area. We've ruggedized the tube so it's got more walls. We're still using the polycarbonate, that's this grey interface here on this particular one. We use colour coding, which is why this is orange and this is grey. So orange basically means 100mm high and grey means a 25mm offset. So we don't send you the wrong one. So you can see orange in the top there. So this has been ruggedized quite considerably, and it's got this chunkier screw on the bottom, which has also been ruggedized and printed at a higher density. And that fits on lovely, whether it's the metal or the PETG version. So this extension I've got here is 100 high and 25mm offset. Another example here is 125 high and 25mm offset. That's in pink. Still got the grey because it's 25mm. And this one here is 100 by 100, and this isn't colour coded, this is just a prototype, but it works. So I thought I'd show you it as well. So this is 100 high and 100mm offset, bringing the joystick. I'm going to have to zoom out, so bear with me. So this brings the joystick a lot closer to the pilot. As you can see here, it's hanging over by, oh, it's a good 45mm to the centre of this. It's a bit blown out by the wide angle of the lens here. But if I show you on the side, bear in mind I haven't actually put it on, but that brings it way back, and you could probably use that with this in the other orientation as long as this socket's the right way around.
We have various sizes available to purchase from the website, ranging from 40mm in height to 150mm in height. We don't think any more than that would be suitable for the Rhino due to the force feedback. You can find our joystick extensions available for the VPforce Rhino by navigating to our website, QR4rigs.com, scrolling down on the left hand side to controller accessories, and then you will find the joystick extension for VPforce Rhino. If you click on that, that will take you to the product page. If our standard sizes of extension don't fit your needs, you can use our custom joystick extension request service by clicking on this link here. Or if you're on mobile, by going up to the hamburger, clicking on the hamburger, going to services, and you'll find it here. I'll use this form from now on just to show you what options are available. You can choose height, your offset, the grip rake angle, and the grip rotation angle. The grip rotation angle is at 15 degrees counterclockwise by default unless you specify otherwise. This is for wrist comfort when using in a central location. So for instance, if you want to use your Rhino on the side of the chair, which some people will, say for an F16, then you might want to have that as 0 rotation angle, and you'd have to specify that on the form. You might also want to increase or give the grip a rake angle of 12 degrees to push the grip forwards, tilt the grip forwards. The form itself has been designed to be easy to use. Hovering over any of the fields gives you tooltips to the right. These might give you examples of various different values you can use, or for instance on the extension height will give you the range that you can use. And the offset, the same, the range, grip rate, the range, and the grip rotation. And any other information that you might feel useful for us to know. Thank you for watching. I hope that's been useful.